What's going on, listeners with attitude? Welcome to a very special MWA presentation where I am your host with the most, Mr. Joe Mama. Joined with me, as always, are my brothers from other mothers, the bearded kaiju himself, Mr. Eric Stalapi Poppy, and the man who's allergic to traveling to the east, the Samson of the West, Mr. Samson West. How are you guys?
Good, man. Good.
Radical excited.
Awesome. We're excited here because on this day, January 13th of 2026, we got a trailer drop for Monarch Legacy of Monsters Season 2. And wow, I cannot wait to see this trailer. I am so excited for this season. I absolutely loved the first season of Monarch. So to get us going, I think we've all agreed we are going to actually sit and watch the trailer for about 2 minutes or so. And you guys will see our live reactions to it. Feel free to hit play when I say, I'm going to count us down. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3. When I say 3, that's when you hit play. And you guys can live react with us if you haven't already seen the trailer. And then once we watch it, we will break it down and talk and give our hypothesis and all that fun stuff. So, Eric, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Samson, are you ready?
Down like a clown, Charlie Brown.
Down like a clown. All right. Remember, on the count of 3, hit play. 1, 2, 3.
Ooh, Aurora Borealis.
All right.
Skull Island?
Yeah. Ooh.
Okay. Oh. Hello, love.
Yeah, it is. Look. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Whoa.
So peaceful.
Oh. Oh,
New is good. Whoa, crap.
Oh, whoa. Whoa, what the?
Somebody get the lice shampoo.
All right.
It's a magical Leopterodon.
What the heck is that?
Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Streaming February 27th.
Okay.
Wow. I tell you what, I'm so happy we don't have very long to go because my excitement level's at like a 10 for this. It's unbelievable. Watching this, I can't help but feel like it does not feel like a TV show. It honestly felt like a trailer almost for a movie. Like this felt grand and spectacular, very exciting, and they actually plugged a villain kaiju, which we'll get into all of that. Eric, I want to know your initial reactions. Don't go too in depth because we're going to break it down. We have a bunch of slides we're going to go to stills from the trailer, but just your initial thoughts off the top of your head. What are you thinking?
Yeah, excited. I mean, that's kind of the word that we'll probably use the most in this kind of reveal and breakdown is it looks tremendous. It really does. It does. It has my blood boiling. It has me excited. My adrenaline is jacked. Like, let's go. I love that we're getting this main villain kaiju. So, that has me excited. That has me excited.
Sammy.
Yeah, new Titan all the way. Come on. I'm all for new, ridiculous looking, whatever it is, Leviathan-esque. I don't even know where to go. Just that double eyeballed in one eyeball. Weird, bizarre. But yeah, looks like we got lots of Godzilla and Kong intermingled. We're gonna get like maybe a back and forth kind of situation. And then it'll all come to fruition at the end of the series, fighting the big bad, just like the original Godzilla versus Kong 2021 movie. Yep. But So maybe maybe that movie wasn't the first time that Godzilla and Kong met up. We're gonna have to see. We got a little over a month.
Yeah, there's a lot to break down. I will say, I'll save this for when we actually break it down. Do you guys want to get to the slides and break down some screen grabs that I got?
Absolutely.
Let's talk about things. No surprise here. First scene of the trailer is Axis Mundi is returning, which we can't say that that's really a surprise. We knew that Lee Shaw, or Kurt Russell's Lee Shaw, that is, was stuck in the in-between or the upside down. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong show. The Axis Mundi. No surprise. I'm excited to see it. Feel free to jump in here. A couple of these slides, I'm just going to kind of move on. So feel free to jump in and let me know if you guys have anything. First shot, this has got to be Skull Island, right? Like
absolutely.
Yeah, this looks like the 70s Skull Island. Like it even kind of has the same coloring from the film from 2016's Kong Skull Island.
Yeah, and even the mountains, the geographical look to it is exactly the same, especially that that panning out shot at the very end of Skull Island, where Kong does his final roar. Some of those little islands and landmarks that were in the sea. Yeah, this is definitely Skull Island for sure.
My thoughts exactly. Eric and Sammy, I was like, yep, this is Skull Island. I guess it could be something else, right? Maybe it's an island next to Skull Island or something, but from what I'm looking and from what it looks like, definitely seems like Skull Island. Man, that is one ugly mother. King Kong himself, he returns. We knew that at the end of the first season, Kong was made a little cameo, so we knew that Kong was going to be in it. How do you think he's going to fit in, Eric?
We kind of were talking about this before. I think it's just young Wyatt Russell and crew are basically going to be that timeline, and they're going to be going through and actually meeting Kong for the first time, because in modern day, Skull Island is gone. It doesn't exist. So if we are going to Skull Island, it has to be before all of that stuff happening, before the typhoon or the whatever storm kind of wipe it off. Like, it has to be before. So yeah, I think this is going to be like our first introduction to Kong. And actually looking at Kong here, he looks a little bit different. He doesn't look like the older, more scruffy, bigger, muscular, more bearded Kong than he was that we've seen in GXK. So yeah, this kind of looks like a mid-aged kind of Kong that we're getting.
It's funny that you talk about the timeline here, because I did read somewhere that apparently season 2 takes place 2 years before King of the Monsters. So after 2014, but before King of the Monsters, which goes back to some of the discussions we've all had here on the channel about how Monarch really has a great potential to kind of fill in all these gaps. Like each season should kind of take place between the movies, and each one kind of lead up to and explore that universe, which from what we're seeing here, it looks like that's what they're going to do. Samson.
Yeah, for sure, because we do need that little bit of a origin story between the movie Kong Skull Island from the 70s and the modern day, when we got to finally see him when Monarch kind of took over Skull Island, and they implemented all their technology and stuff and made that kind of one of their bases. So we need to see them show up and set up base and discover Kong other than the first film from Samuel L. Jackson in all those 70s characters. So we need that little bit of the filler between 1970 whatever and 2021. So that's gonna be good. Yeah, he does look like a younger Kong. So this is a little after Skull Island, but before King of the Monsters. So he's still kind of young. He's not as big old bulk bearded daddy King Kong. So we're gonna get that origin story that we've been needing since 1973, 6, whatever period Skull Island took place on.
Well, that's one of the things that was kind of introduced, or a little bit of an origin story for, was Apex in the first season. And so, and at the end of King of the Monsters, and the end credits, it talks about a mechanical giant being built on Skull Island. So, like you said, Samson and Eric, we need to figure out how the government went there and how Apex got there, got the contracts, how they built that dome, how Mechagodzilla was built there. So there's a lot that they could explore, or at least, excuse me, set up the groundwork and lay the foundation for some of these stories that we got in the movies. New cave paintings, this time of the new Titan, which is codenamed or named Titan X. It's kind of cool that they're continuing this in the TV shows, not just in the movies where they're kind of doing that lore. This is now going to be the fourth time that we've seen these type of cave paintings. Obviously, the first was at the end of Kong Skull Island. We saw the Godzilla and Ghidorah fight. And then we saw at the end of King of the Monsters, the Godzilla Kong fight. We saw Shimo in the Call of Duty tie-ins, and now finally Titan X for this trailer. Eric, what are you thinking? Anything? Or do you want to save your thoughts? Because there'll be other slides for Titan X. So
the only thing I want to say is that I love that they're kind of doing these origin stories with cave paintings, because it makes them, and everybody kind of wants to know, okay, what's the backstory? How did these cave paintings come to be? And then also says, okay, these things are old. They've been, during the caveman, so they're millions, thousands of years old, and they just kind of went into hibernation. Like, obviously we kind of already knew with all the Titans going into hibernation, and now they're starting to come out and stuff. And just seeing that other civilizations have come across them, it makes it very interesting. And you want to see and know the backstory of them, and where they were first discovered, or what kind of makes them tick. So I do love that they keep doing these cave paintings to kind of unveil these new Titans.
Sammy,
I can't really add to that. Just the fact that these things are thousands of years old is really neat, and just a whole archaeological aspect to the creatures and beings that are the Titans of Earth is a neat little nice touch to add them to quote unquote history in the universe that is the Monsterverse.
I saw some people on social media complaining that, like, oh, we're getting another cave painting. Oh, what did an ancient Godzilla and an ancient Kong fight this thing? And my answer to that is, so what? We know that there was a great Titan war at one point. Who cares if they modify the story a little bit? And why couldn't it be dozens and dozens of Titans on one side versus dozens and dozens of Titans on another side? It didn't just have to be, Godzilla and Ghidorah. I think that Ghidorah should always remain like the big threat of what was kind of established. Like, don't undermine Ghidorah, but I don't have a problem with this lore. In fact, these cave paintings, it reminds me in a way of the Primal Rage games, where each dinosaur and ancient creature had its own territory, and it had its own cult of worshipers. And that's honestly what all of these Titans, when they're introduced like this in the form of these cave paintings, whether it's Titan X or Shimo, Ghidorah, Kong, etc., Godzilla, etc., like it's like, oh, okay, well, Godzilla ruled Japan, Ghidorah ruled the southern hemisphere, and Titan X is in this continent, and this one's over here. Like, it kind of just makes sense. Like, they were all territorial, they all had their 1,000-mile territory or whatever it was, and they only kind of fought when they left their own territory for whatever reason. And maybe Ghidorah was the start of that Titan war. We all know that it's been established that Ghidorah terraforms the earth and the atmosphere. Maybe Ghidorah's arrival forced these other Titans, and it changed the atmosphere, and it forced them to migrate to other places, which caused a giant conflict. I don't know, just throwing it out there. All right. Hello, lover. Anna Sewa returns. She's just so pretty, so nice to look at. She's out of that whole group of her little cast or whatever. She was the only one that I actually liked. The other ones I thought were kind of like nails on a chalkboard. Sammy, you go first. What do you think about Anna Sewa returning?
Honestly, I do need to go back and just rewatch the series because it's been out since how many years ago now? I only watched it the one time through.
3.
So, trying to remember who was part of what group. She wasn't part of the past group. I remember that, but I have honestly forgotten her importance. I mean, I will not complain about her being on screen whatsoever. Are you kidding me? Just look at that. So. Yeah, I need to go back and rewatch so that I can be reintroduced to the characters all over again and their roles and the importance of what they had to offer for each generational thing. So it's not as fresh on my mind because it's been however many years now. So yeah. But to have returning characters, hey, hell yeah! It's always.
Yep, for sure. Eric.
I think it's great. I agree with you, Joe. She was, I think, the one character for like the younger group, the more modern day group that was stomachable. Just overall, her acting was better. I didn't like the others' actings, and it wasn't believable. So, and obviously, she has a very big connection. It was her dad hunting down Godzilla in the first season. She's she's related to the I don't remember her name, the older lady scientist that was trapped in the hollow earth
upside down
for a long time. So like
Kiko?
she's very important. Thank you. So she's very important, and then just obviously her coming back, and then being the modern times, like maybe she's part of Apex, maybe she's part of Monarch now, who knows? Like she's going to be one of the main people going after and hunting down these Titans, and I think she's going to be part of one of these organizations because she had the biggest role, honestly, in the first season for the younger group, I guess you could say, going for Godzilla. So, and she's, like I said, she's a great actress. I mean, she even starred in the Hulu hit and critically acclaimed award-winning show Shogun. So that was obviously amazing. So having her back, that kind of caliber acting, it is a plus for the show.
Thank you for bringing that up, Eric. You stole my thunder a little bit. I was going to say that if anybody hasn't seen Shogun, they should absolutely check that out because it is a phenomenal show. It's a limited series, but man, it just from beginning to end, it's superb. It's almost kind of like Game of Thrones in Japan. It's very, very good. Very good. Before we move on, I think now would be a great time for me to say, throw your thoughts and opinions in the chat. We're going to check this. I know this is a pre-recorded thing and that we're dropping, but we want to hear your guys' opinions and theories and maybe facts that you guys heard about this or rumors. We would love to hear it and dissect it and talk with all of you guys about it. Also, do us a huge favor, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Godzilla arrives in Japan for the first time in the MonsterVerse.
Interesting.
The first time, 12 years into this franchise.
Wow, yeah.
And Godzilla finally shows up in Japan. Unless I'm forgetting something, this is the first time Godzilla finally shows up in Japan. I'm excited to see the MonsterVerse legendary Godzilla maybe duke it out or do some damage to Japan itself. I think this is long overdue, and it's definitely, for whatever reason, seems to be a country or even the cities in Japan that they seem to be avoiding. There was obviously Janjira, right? Like in the 2014 Godzilla, but Godzilla never actually showed up there. That was the Mutos.
Nope. That was
so,
right.
I'm curious as to why they haven't brought Godzilla into Japan yet. Maybe they're saving it for like something super crazy or whatever, but I'm excited to see Godzilla in Japan. Any thoughts, guys?
I mean, yeah, it's obviously going back to the stomping grounds where it all began, but I don't think it was needed. I don't think it was, it didn't we've seen it so many times. We don't need to see it again. It's good to see all these other locations, all these other things going on around the world instead of always just focusing on one central area, honestly. And it's nice to discover these things and explore and see all this other stuff that's going on in the world. So I'm glad that they've done other things and gone to other locations. I like that. Yeah, it's nice that he's, kind of coming home, for the first time, but I don't think it was necessarily needed.
I don't want to say it's an Easter egg, but it is nice to see him, as you stated, back in his original stomping grounds, even if it's the Americanized Godzilla. It's going to be cool to see him wreaking havoc in Japan, fighting something, just stomping around for whatever. I don't know. Somebody turned something on. And he's like, hey, I got to go check this out in Japan now. Let's see what happens. But I see what you're saying, Eric. It's not like we have seen it a bunch, but just to see this specific Godzilla in Japan, to see every Godzilla in Japan at least once needs to be done.
Absolutely.
I do agree with the argument I think you were making, Eric, of we've had 30 some odd movies of Godzilla in Japan. So these ones, I wouldn't mind having him explore places that he's never been in the Japanese films. So I totally get that. All right, first look at Titan X. We got a double pupil here. Very interesting. There was also, I forgot to grab a screen grab. Actually, Eric, when you're done answering, can you grab a picture of that poster that I sent in the chat and throw it up? I'll show it at the very end. Eric, I'll let you go first since I just gave you some homework. What's your thought here on the first look of Titan X?
Well, obviously this is just an eyeball, but actually at first I was kind of assuming that this was like the Kraken type kaiju Titan, if you will, from the Skull Island anime that we got on Netflix. That's immediately what I thought, because I think, if I remember correctly, that Kraken creature thing had these like double eyes. I couldn't remember if I'd have to go back to and actually watch it, but I was trying to remember it with my memory. But yeah, I thought that's what it was. But now with seeing the actual trailer, I am completely wrong, because he is more reptilian, but an aquatic reptile, honestly, which is really crazy.
We'll get there.
But yeah, obviously with this very different design with two irises, I guess you could call it, and very interesting for sure.
Sammy.
Yeah, first look indeed. Double looking at us. This is bizarre by all means. Somebody needs to actually go to the doctor. That doesn't look healthy. But interesting to say the least. Eric, I did not watch the Skull Island cartoon, so I'm not familiar with what you're talking about, actually, unfortunately. But this, as Joe was talking about, the poster, yeah, we got a clearer image. It's weird. It's new. It's enough to get you excited, because that is messed up mutation. As we stated, watching the trailer, it is very reptilian, very radical. It kind of reminds me of the crocodilian looking kaiju at the end of Pacific Rim, the one that's face opens up in 3 different ways, and it has like that middle face.
Kaiju?
Is that, yeah, whatever weird name they gave it, but it kind of looks like a bigger, better version of that. From when we get a full, I know we're gonna get into that, so I'm gonna
yeah,
stay a little bit more hush hush.
Get into the full reveal, and it actually, Sammy, you mentioned the word, and I didn't want to say anything first, but you said the word mutation. I wonder if Titan X is an experiment gone wrong because of this double iris thing. Like if it's maybe almost. They experimented with Godzilla's genes and a squid and something. I don't know what, but and this is what was born out of it. No idea. That could be totally 100% wrong.
I mean,
but
this does look like spliced cells. His eyeball almost looks like two cells that are trying to be spliced together in a mutated way, and that's kind of a cool little Easter egg hint right there.
Yep, that was my thoughts exactly, Sammy. So moving on, here is an outline of Titan X.
Right.
So,
it doesn't sound like that in the TV show. I'm gonna be mad.
I just wanted to give the outline because I saw some people saying that it's totally squid, or it's like a whale with tentacles. I don't see it. This isn't as clear of a picture that was in the trailer. You can see it's very dinosaurian reptilian type looking. It has a horn on the tip of its nose. It has a lot of spikes right on the bridge of its eye going down its back a little bit. It looks like it has like teeth like a dinosaur of some kind. Even its scales here that you can kind of see, that does not look like a whale to me, but I am not a marine biologist, so but yeah, this looks totally dinosaurian reptilian to me. Eric.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, the skin is very similar to like Godzilla, the very reptilian. So it's just a reptile that can go in the water just like Godzilla. Maybe he is like Godzilla, where he can breathe underwater just like Godzilla, and he maybe will have the gills on the side like Godzilla does have. Maybe they used some of his DNA to make this thing and crossbreed it with something else. Who knows? Maybe this is Apex's science experiment that got away, back in the day, and now it's finally surfaced and maybe got exposure to radiation. Who knows? But yeah, I definitely dig this design. It looks very menacing, and I cannot wait to see it, because there hasn't been a lot of Titans from the Monsterverse that have been, quite frankly, imposing, honestly. There just haven't been really anybody that's like, oh crap, that thing looks mean, that thing looks like it's going to put up a massive fight and they're going to have issues with it. All these new Titans just kind of seem like they've been little lackluster, to be honest. But this thing does look interesting to me, and I'm excited to see this on the screen, and I cannot wait for these guys to duke it out, man. Samson.
Sure, for sure. This thing being aquatic is going to be a bonus, because we haven't really had a lot of sea fights. We had one very minor sea fight with Tiamat in X Kong, and that was underwater. It happened underwater. She got killed immediately, and then Godzilla. Wait, is that the Tiamat? Yeah. That fight sequence lasted all of a few seconds, and it happened underwater, and we didn't see it. And then we just saw pieces of her floating to the top, and boom, she's dead. So let's have some aquatic fight, and this thing does look insane. I do like the dinosaurian horn on the nose, the reptilian skin, just whatever this thing is going to be. And of course, we saw in the cave painting, it has tentacles and stuff. Kind of like you know what?
Yes,
it's Sharktopus without being Sharktopus. That's what it is. So
honestly, I you know what this really reminds me of? This reminds me of Slattern from Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Oh, with all the tentacles. Oh, right.
All the tentacles, but he had 4 legs. He had the tail tentacles. Like, he looks very similar to that. So,
you know what it reminds me of? Y'all that read the Dark Horse comics can tell me better. There was like a mama kaiju that Godzilla fought, and it had like a giant horn on the front of its nose, and then it was trying to protect 2 little ones, I believe, in the Dark Horse comic. It kind of gives that off a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, tentacles.
Yeah. All right, let's move on because we have a couple other slides for Titan X coming up, so we'll be able to dive more into its appearance. Mari Yamamoto reprises her role as Kiko. Looks like she's standing on the edge of the Titanic there, letting the wind blow her hair. Just kidding. And Joe Tippett will return as Tim. I will say Mari, her character at times was a little bit unlikable to me. Very kind of just, I think, too stuffy, too I don't know what the word is, but towards the end of it, she's just sort of kind of started growing on me. So I'm hoping that she has a little bit more character development in this season to where she doesn't come off so I don't know, uppity, stuffy. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. Joe Tippett was actually the exact opposite. I thought he was hilarious. I thought he was a great addition to the cast as Tim, and his little survival scene was fantastic in Africa. Samson, I haven't gone to you first. What are you happy with these guys are returning, or couldn't care less? You need to rewatch it.
I do, because I'll tell you what honestly is, I'm drawing a blank on the younger, not these younger, but like the modern day younger cast story, because
we'll get there.
They were such an unlikable bunch of, but no, the older cast was the better story with Wyatt Russell and Mari, and that whole scenario was so much better. I don't even remember Joe Tippett. See, I binge watched all of this in one sitting. Yeah, I have to. I really do. I'm not as familiar with the human story as I was all those years ago when we first talked about it. But I am glad to have her back, because she played a big role being stuck in the in-between and then being rescued and coming to modern day Monarch and all that stuff. So just to have her be like, oh man, time traveling, just have to experience everything all at once. It's let's see what she thinks with all the time that's passed and everything that she lost.
Sammy, I've only seen season one time when it first came out. So I am actually planning, I would like to rewatch the whole season before season 2 comes out. I'm gonna throw the gauntlet down to all the listeners and everybody here, the hosts of MWA. We should all watch it, not necessarily together, just watch it. Give a little bump in the ratings for Apple. Eric, happy these guys are coming back, or couldn't care less?
Yeah. That, I mean, the casting for the most part was good. Kiko was a big part of the older cast, and I did like her. She's great, and actually, you guys didn't mention this is their first interaction with each other. Tim actually was with the younger group, and Kiko was obviously older and in the stuck in between. So actually, we're gonna get a crossover with the two, which will be a nice, I think, mix up. But yeah, I actually did like most of the cast, so I do like that most of these are returning.
Awesome. Titan X breaks free. Looks like there was like a mountain or a pillar of some kind in the Axis Mundi, and you can see up here on the top left of that mountain, it looks like a tentacle of some kind is breaking out. So I'm thinking that Titan X somehow breaks free in the Axis Mundi, which, if it is true that Titan X is from the in-between, that completely blows my theory of it being a mutation out of the water, and it being that maybe Godzilla's presence or longer than usual presence, I should say, in the in-between fighting the Iron Dragon in the first season, maybe somehow triggered this thing's awakening, and maybe that's why we're getting it. Eric, it looks like you had something you were wanting to say.
You kind of said it, but yeah, I kind of had this feeling, but I was like, what if this thing comes from the Axis Mundi, and sure enough, I think he does. And I think you're right. I think he is triggered or set off with the presence of Godzilla, because I have a feeling that this Titan X was an alpha at one point. I think he was an alpha, and he felt the presence of another alpha and enraged him so much that he literally either woke up from his slumber or whatever, or prison, whatever he was in, woke up and he was like, where's this person? Where's this thing? I need to go destroy it, because that's what happens when alphas sense each other. They collide because there can only be one alpha. So they are meant to fight each other. We've already seen it in the Monsterverse. So I have a feeling he might have been an alpha at one point. And honestly, if he's living in that realm, he could be millions of years old, honestly, because time is different in that realm. It's slower. So this thing could be just older than dirt, and at one point was a alpha. So I mean, that's pretty awesome. Obviously, we see Kurt Russell there in the lower left-hand corner, obviously looking at him escaping. But yeah, this could be a lot of cool things for this particular kaiju.
You talk about the ancient one or an old one and the flow of time. Can't help but see the parallels there with H.P. Lovecraft and Cthulhu and the great old gods and stuff. So very interesting. Maybe there's going to be like somewhat of a parallel connection or a tribute, tip of the hat to that type of stuff. Samson.
It seems so, especially with the tentacle aspect of things and it having two mutated looking eyes. So now, yeah, dang, I was so in awe watching the trailer for the first time. I just kind of forgot that this happened in the in-between. But yeah, that does kind of toss out the whole mutation experiment aspect of things. I think it's actually a cooler concept that this is as Tarek kindly stated, old as dirt kaiju, something that's older than dirt. And it does totally make sense that Godzilla kind of broke the laws of physics by entering its territory in a parallel universe and mess things up and just kind of made this thing wake up and yeah. So how it's going to get to Earth, regular Earth, let's well, I mean, kind of the laws of physics were broken with the Ion Dragon too. It entered Earth whenever it wanted to in different time periods. So still, it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. If this is a ancient being. Well, in the first season, we did see like that mutated hog trying to kill some of our characters. So there's a lot of mutated creatures in this realm anyway. So it only makes sense for there to be a guardian kaiju something in the in between.
But that's the thing. Like the Iron Dragon, I don't think ever left the in between. He didn't come out or whatever. And usually these portals that Godzilla takes, he just uses the portal. He doesn't stop and use the restroom or to get a snack, from his journey. He's not, this isn't a quick stop or whatever. So I think the presence of him going there kind of threw off the balance of everything, because maybe this Titan X is the alpha in this area, and Godzilla just being there just completely just wrecked everything. And now he's like, who just came into my home and you need to get out. So
let's just be honest. This is episode 9. This is what we were waiting for. 11's going to open this thing up and release it for everything. That's what it is.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't the Ion Dragon, wasn't he in the first or second episode of Monarch in the real world where he was on that
ship,
sunken ship?
He was, wasn't he?
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Gotcha.
So
okay, my bad.
So
I forgot about that.
He did travel, but
I forgot about that.
I want to talk about the Ion Dragon at the end, but let's be honest. The Ion Dragon probably wasn't strong enough to trigger Titan X's awakening.
No.
Return to Skull Island. Very reminiscent of Kong's Skull Island. We have this scene of helicopters flying into the hurricane. It'd be interesting to see them return. What did you guys have any thoughts? I know we already kind of talked about them returning to Skull Island, but any last? All right. Yeah. Escape from Skull Island. I think this scene is them fleeing Skull Island at some point. No idea. As you can see in this scene, Ren Watabe is returning as Seiwa's brother, and ever so slightly you can see Kirstie Clemens right here. Who cares? She was by far my least
For real.
favorite character in season 1. I can't help but notice that in this trailer, the Ren Watabe and Kiersey Clemens, they are barely seen at all. I can't help but wonder if Apple or Legendary or whoever heard the feedback from the vast majority of fans that those two were not liked. I didn't see many people really care for them at all or ever talk about them in a positive light. Eric, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean they're kind of forgettable characters, honestly. Even though the two are half brother and sister, it was still more focused on her. It seemed like she still had the spotlight, and yeah, just I could care less about their characters and what happened to them, honestly, because they just, like I said, I wasn't a fan of their acting for the most part, and yeah, I didn't care. I didn't care what they were trying to do or what they were trying to say or whatever. It's just like, no, I'm not focused on them. I'm focused on other people because they just not the impression that I wanted. So yeah, with their lack of presence in the trailer, maybe their characters do kind of go off and aren't seen again in the season. So
We can only hope.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Samson, what's your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, exactly. It's they were very forgettable. The episodes that Kiersey was in, oh god, don't. It was such a filler episode. It was so boring. I think that's why I forgot and kind of lost a little bit of love halfway through the series because it started to get really dull and a little too personal with the characters. The whole love triangle thing between a lot of them, I was just kind of like, okay, who cares? That's not what we're here for. It's stop. All right. No, our main girl
doesn't like anything with love.
No, baby, don't hurt me. Yeah, no, our main character right here, she was the most important part. Just her trying to uncover the secrets of her father and everything that happened. That was the driving force of the first season. It's all kind of coming back to me as you're talking about it now. I'm kind of getting like a whoa PTSD moment. I remember.
Mm-hmm.
So
well, it's like honestly, like the whole Ren character, like honestly, didn't give a crap about his dad, and like she never knew her dad. She only was raised by her mom. So it was like trying to get to know him and see what kind of person he is, and all this kind of stuff. So you felt for her, where Ren was like he didn't care about his dad. He didn't care if his dad lived or died, whatever. He lived with them, blah blah blah, this and that. Then obviously had just anger towards him because he had this other family and blah blah blah. Like it was just weird. But I felt more for the girl, where she actually cared for the well-being of her dad and actually trying to meet him for the first time and actually get to know him for the first time, instead of Ren. So yeah, I just liked that side of the story better.
See, I actually don't blame Ren because if I found out my dad had another wife and kids in a different part of the globe, I'd probably be pretty pissed too. It's just I just didn't care for the way the characters were written. And honestly, Ren less so than Kiersey. She just seemed like so out of left field. Like she didn't seem like, to me, she didn't seem like a character that should have been in the whole season. She seemed like a character that, oh, this is my on again, off again girlfriend. We're fighting, whatever, and they finally break up, and the brother and sister go off to have the journey, not the tag along girlfriend who all of a sudden, surprise, there's a love triangle between the brother, sister, and the brother's girlfriend. Like that's just like what? Like what is happening? Like you want to divide this family more? Like, like now, like it's just it's crazy.
And it's funny because they like wrote this weird angle for her where her sister was working for this company and then all of a sudden had this like blackmailing info on her to make her do things that she didn't want to do and blah blah blah. Like they were reaching to keep her relevant in this storyline, to keep her around this group. and it was just like, didn't really need it. Honestly, we didn't really need it. We could have done without her side of the story, and it still would have meant that they were going to interact with what we didn't know at the time, but ended up being Apex as a company, and it still would have been just a surprise as if they wouldn't have done anything with her. So yeah, her whole character just didn't make sense and was not necessary.
I agree. All right, moving on. Wyatt Russell is returning as Lee Shaw, the young version. That's great. I think that Wyatt and Kurt Russell were by far my favorite part of the whole first season. Anna Sewa was a great addition as well, but the Russells definitely did it for me, both young and old. That sounds wrong. But Samson, what do you think about Wyatt's return? Triumphant return.
I've always enjoyed him as an actor, even in the goofy stuff that I've seen him in. But what a perfect casting! Father and son in real life, playing older and younger versions of the same guy. It's just that's peak casting right there. So yeah, I'd love to see the continuation of what happened in the past. Because I mean, we did a whole time jump to him in the future at the little retirement home, whatever that he had to escape from, that he was being kept prisoner at as Kurt Russell. So yeah, let's that was the strongest part of the series, was the young version of our older characters. I am looking forward to seeing what all they got involved. And just by what we're looking at here, it looks like we got a little tribal situation thing going on here. So I don't know, they're trying to discover the origins of Titan X. Who knows? There's a weird dangling fish thing right there. So it's
called a shark. In America, that's called a shark. Eric, what's your thoughts on Wyatt's return?
It's great. It's obviously a great casting, and he did a tremendous job. He was one of the stronger characters in it, and yeah, I'm just glad that most of the characters are returning for this next season.
We need a bigger boat. This is giving me some -1 vibes a little bit. Seeing what looks to be Godzilla, maybe it's Titan X, but those spines kind of look like
it's.
I know. I'm thinking. I thought it was Titan X too, but then I saw some people being like, "Oh no, it's Godzilla." I have no idea. Either way, what a great scene. I don't know. Hey, I don't know. It could be either one. I'm down with another boat chase scene, but maybe a little bit faster than what was happening in -1. -1 was like he was right there. So Eric, what's your thought? Eric, I go to you first a lot. Samson, what's your thoughts?
No, cool stuff. It kind of looks like the small boat from that still from when they were creeping up on Skull Island. It looks like the same. It's kind of hard to see from a distance, but it does kind of look like that same little speedboat when they were creeping up towards the architect, or what is it, the mountain tops of Skull Island back in the 70s or whatever. So maybe we're getting Godzilla from back then. I don't know. But this is always menacing and terrifying. Tiny boat versus colossal kaiju. That's a scary situation. Let's see what comes to fruition here. But I don't know. I'm looking at the body. It looks a little, I can't tell. I have to go back and watch the trailer again, and like frame by frame. But the dorsal plates do scream. I think it has to be Godzilla, but I don't know. We'll find out.
Easy.
Looks like a cool scene, but I highly disagree. That is not Godzilla, because if Godzilla was that, his middle dorsal spines would be extruding up way before his side ones, because that is 2 rows of so-called spikes. That is, I think that is Titan X for sure.
Oh, good point, Eric. Good point. Now, keep in mind, apparently this is, like I said, 2 years before King of the Monsters, so Godzilla might still have his 2014 spines, right?
Little tiny, little itty bitty dorsal plate.
Oh wait, no, he got his 2019 spines in the first season. Never mind. I change my opinion. All right. Moving on. And of course, we got Kurt Russell returning as the old Lee Shaw with Titan X, as Eric is saying, chasing him here in the background. I tell you why I'm excited for this scene. One, I think it could be a badass, really cool scene, possibly the scene and potentially fight of the season if what I think happens, which would be maybe Godzilla showing up at the last second to let Kurt Russell get away. But I love the fact that it's in daylight. I love that. It's not dark. It's not rainy. It's not grainy or dawn, dusk. It's middle of the day, bright sun, and it makes me excited to see that. Samson. All right, Eric.
All right, sneezing.
Oh. Go ahead, Sammy. You can go.
All right. Well, this already just counters what I just said about a second ago. It's Kurt Russell being chased by this thing. I just watched the trailer. Why can't I remember any of it? I guess I was just in the moment when it happened. Well, first and foremost, looks like he's back to the present day. He's not stuck in the in-between anymore. So I'm interested to see how. Yeah, big spoiler. Who didn't know? But this is cool. This is good. Yeah, now that I see it from this angle, I don't think that is Godzilla. Eric, you're absolutely right. That thing's too broad, and yeah, but why is it chasing him? What's going to happen? It's going to be a tense moment. It's going to be a tense scene. It's probably going to be like 7 episodes in, so we're not going to see it for a while.
Mr. Stolapi?
Yeah, obviously, again, just like with his son, this is great to have him back, and I think he was the anchor for the whole show. Honestly, he was the one character I think that was one of the most interesting and the best performance, honestly, out of all of them. He did such a great job, and having his caliber like status in this kind of show is just amazing. And yeah, this is, again, I still think it's Titan X. This reminds me of Jaws, honestly, where Jaws is literally chasing the boat, and they're literally trying to bring him into shallow water to drown him. But yeah, I can definitely see this as kind of a bait type thing where he's luring Titan X into something, and we'll see what happens.
We got a taxidermy man. He gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I brought him.
For real.
Oh, Sammy. Maybe he's leading Titan X to Godzilla. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, we got Kong rampaging on Skull Island, maybe. I hate to say this. I know we have some fans of ours, fans of the show that are some big-ass Kong fans, but I just don't care, so moving on.
Oh, my gosh.
Titan X, the Leviathan of Revelations. Samson, I can't help but notice the fact that you called it a Leviathan earlier in this show, and that's exactly the vibes that I've been getting this whole silhouette, the trailer, all of everything that we know so far about Titan X. It reminds me of the Leviathans from the Book of Revelations in the Bible. And its appearance, the squid-like, the Leviathans are, they come from the ocean and just all of it. And I'm like, oh man, that would be one hell of a creature to turn into a kaiju, or a Titan in this case. And the silhouette, it looks incredible. And I don't know if you guys can see that darker shape right there. Looks to be a blue whale or a sperm whale or some kind of whale, and that thing is just, it looks monstrous. I mean, the silhouette looks great. I cannot wait to see Titan X in action. I've been waiting to say this the whole show, and just the 2-minute trailer that we've had for season 2, the aura and just the energy that Titan X has given off, and just the few snippets that we've seen have totally eclipsed anything the Iron Dragon did in season 1 completely already. This is just my opinion. You don't like it, tough crap, take it to the bank. But I think that Titan X, just the aura farm is churning out majorly, because the fact that they did the whole trailer alluding to and pushing to Titan X, hey, this thing, it made me feel like I was watching a trailer for the next big budget movie. Like I thought this was for Supernova, not a TV show. I am 1,000% sold on this, and I am 1,000% sold on Titan X. Samson.
Yes, this thing absolutely aura farming. That's funny that you said that. That's such a Gen Z phrase to say, but yeah, that's what this thing absolutely emits. It's menacing. It's cool. The silhouette, the Ion Dragon. It was a puny, very underwhelming creature to be the final boss in season 1. So this thing, I mean, geez, look at the whale silhouette compared to it. I mean, in all those tentacles / legs / arms, still don't know what we got yet. This is just a great teaser for what's to come. And I think Godzilla or Kong, I mean, I'd be interested to see Kong have to duke it out with this thing. Kong in the water versus whatever this is, or it on the land versus Kong. Who knows what's going to happen, but I think that they're going to get a run for their money with this thing because it looks like a beast.
Mm-hmm. Eric.
I just want to say I'm glad that they kept this pretty much a secret for the full trailer. They give you snippets, they give you little things here and there to kind of get you really excited. So that was great. That was smart on their part because we want more. We want to see more. We're going to tune in to see what this Titan is, honestly. And honestly, I have more excitement from this Titan alone than we did the last MonsterVerse movie. The last MonsterVerse movie with Shimo and Scar King did not get me excited about those villains whatsoever. They were underwhelming. They weren't it. Honestly, this thing gives boss aura. Honestly, like this thing looks just menacing. It really does. And like I said, if it can go on land and sea just like Godzilla, he is a double threat. All he's got to do is take Kong down and drown him, and he's done for. So it's just like it's a very scary thing for Kong, honestly. But yeah, this thing looks tremendous. It looks like a great design. I love the extra like tentacles. Godzilla's never fought anything like this, honestly. Never with like extra tentacles, extra arms like this. Like it's stuff that could grab him from multiple directions. It's going to be a really cool showdown with them, and I'm excited. I think more for this than I was for New Empire, honestly.
Eric, remember from Gears of War 2, the giant fish with all the tentacle arms that we had to fight and cut them off and stuff? It was also called a Leviathan. So that's what this thing is. It's a Leviathan creature.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with what you just said, Eric, about Titan X. I'm already more sold on it than Scar King, and definitely more than the Iron Dragon. I can't say. I mean, I was definitely interested to see. I think they tried to build Shimo up, with like just like her glowing eyes at the trailer. So you're like, oh my gosh, there's something else, whatever. I just don't think that she was executed the best, probably in the movie. It just this alone, like I already feel, even in the trailers of the New Empire, when they're the biggest threat ever, Godzilla had to evolve. I'm sorry, but I don't. Number one, I think Godzilla Evolved looks cool, but number one, he did not seem more powerful to me at all. He seemed way more powerful in Godzilla vs. Kong. Number one. Number two, I'm sorry, but like to me, no offense to Shimo and Scar King, but they did not seem like the type of threat that would have forced Godzilla to evolve. This thing makes me believe that like there's a threat to Godzilla. Obviously, we know Godzilla's going to win. This takes place before the other two movies that are already out, but like you're still like if you're wondering. How's he going to do it? And that's what I love. I don't mind Godzilla having to win at the end of the day, but give him a fight. This thing makes me believe that he's going to have a fight.
I think so. I'm stoked. I'm excited. Let's have it.
I'm excited too. Sammy, I know you got to bounce really quickly here. Eric, do you have a few more minutes? We can show off that poster and give our final thoughts.
Yeah.
Sammy, do you want to give your final thoughts real quick while Eric is pulling up that poster, and then you can bounce?
Yes, thank you, Joe. I'm more excited about this than I was for season 1. Season 1, I mean, sure, we got the trailers and we got what we got, but season 1 was a little underwhelming. Even the final fight sequence, as I stated, the Ion Dragon, that fight lasted all of less than 2 minutes, and just boom, Godzilla ripped it in half, and it was one and done. And it was very distracted by the humans' characters' lack of a story, I should say. I'm not going to say their story, their lack of a story. So this looks like we got a lot going on. We have to rescue Kurt Russell from the in-between, bring him to the present. Maybe this thing's going to come with them at the same time, and that's how it enters our world, because our present day characters are trying to save his character, but they accidentally bring this thing in at the same time. Yeah, a lot going on. And then just to get our origin story for Kong, from between the 70s to the present day, or present day when this takes place. And just yeah, now we got a new love triangle, but it's a good love triangle. It's Godzilla, Kong, and Leviathan. Titan X, sorry.
Just like season 1, Eric, we got a poster, and for those of you who may not remember, I actually have the poster of season 1, Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. It was just this one right here. Kind of cool. This new one is very interesting. I'm glad they're doing that. I'm glad they're doing the tie-ins. I hope Playmates does a toy of the Titan X. We still need a toy of the Ion Dragon from season 1, but we got the Frostbark, so fingers crossed it's pointing in that direction. Hopefully we'll get a new wave of Playmates toys. Eric, as we wrap things up here, what are your final thoughts on this trailer? Expectations, excitement level? Let me know.
I think this last hour is kind of described, I think, how excited we all are. Like I said, like I just stated, more so than even the New Empire. I wasn't on board with New Empire. It surprisingly changed my mind a little bit, but still, it still didn't fulfill what I really wanted. And this looks like it could change everything, honestly, and in a good way. I just like that Monarch is introducing this new kaiju, but really putting an emphasis on how either important or how deadly this thing really is going to be. Seeing this poster is pretty amazing, honestly. I saw that, I was like, ooh, that's, like I stated, I thought it was the Kraken kind of monster that we were going to get in it, and I was like, ooh, this is actually a reptilian, because you can see with his eye and everything. I was like, ooh, okay, this is something completely different. And then my mind started racing to try to figure out what it is. I was like, man, this has to be just a whole new thing. And I'm excited for it, because I really did enjoy the first season. I thought they did such a good job with everything overall, telling this extra story. And I'm really excited for this next season, obviously getting all these main characters, human characters back, obviously with kaiju characters, and now even introducing a new Titan that looks like this opposing deadly thing that could really kind of take out Godzilla and Kong, or who knows, maybe he fights them individually. Maybe we get solo fights for each one of these, because this thing is so old. Maybe he encountered both Kong and Godzilla at different times, and then maybe we get a three-way battle royal. Who knows? But like, I'm more excited for this than I was the previous movie, and that says something. That they're doing really good stuff with this TV show. They want to really push this TV show. They want to make it something where people are going to watch. I mean, obviously the last season had great numbers for Apple TV. I think it was one of their best viewings on the actual app. So obviously people are watching this stuff, and with the time that we are, with this kaiju boom, I mean, how could you not take advantage of this stuff? And we've been wanting new Titans with the MonsterVerse, and honestly, this is probably the best one that I've seen thus far. Honestly, that is brand new. All of them have just been kind of soft, I guess you could say, just very not ferocious, not I keep saying the word deadly, but like just that impact, threatening, just that feel that these things have, and they seem like they're all just kind of like good, benevolent kind of kaiju, or just kind of don't know what they're doing, or they're just kind of there, and it's just like this thing's the threat. This thing is what we should have gotten in the last movie, where it should have taken both of them to knock him out, but we're getting it in the series. So a lot of stuff to dissect with this series, and I cannot wait to get into this on February 27th.
Wow, you said a lot there, a lot to dissect, and I totally agree with everything you said. I just jotted down a couple things. You talked about this being the most threatening new monster of the MonsterVerse, or original monster of the MonsterVerse, and I have to agree. I think Tiamat is a fantastic design, and there's a few of them like that where I'm like, oh, like that's, the designs look really cool. But as far as just, I said the word before, the aura farming, or you said a boss aura, like the words that come to my mind now after everything you just said is like primal fear. You actually feel like this thing, and we haven't even fully seen it yet. And we haven't even fully seen it in battle or anything like that yet. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting here like, wow, this thing is impressive. So that alone speaks to the design and the execution of this trailer. So kudos to them. Speaking of the MonsterVerse creating all these original monsters, that is the number one thing that, whether we liked the designs or not, we have gotten, what, 2 dozen different original monsters in just the 10 years that the MonsterVerse has been going on. Whether they made an appearance for 1 minute or for a whole movie, there's a lot of original monsters and original titans from the MonsterVerse that are just awesome, and I love that they're expanding that while also bringing back some of the Toho kaiju. Obviously, we've had Godzilla, Rodan, Mothra, Ghidra, Mechagodzilla, Kong, but we also had Mothra return, which was kind of nice. So maybe I would love to see in the future them to continue these new creations while also bringing back and paying respect to the monsters that we've seen and enjoyed our whole lives. You brought up Apple TV and it premiering to big numbers. If I remember correctly, I actually need to fact check this. I don't know if the record still holds, but if I remember correctly, this was the biggest debut for an original content at the time. Now this, season 1 came out 2-3 years ago, so maybe that record's been beaten. But that's huge. That's awesome. That's huge numbers. And I tell you what, I'm going to resubscribe to Apple TV for this. I'd be more than happy to give them my money. I'm actually probably going to resubscribe to it sooner. So I would like to go back and rewatch season 1. So true. Yeah. So, hey, they got my money. And on top of that, we know that this franchise is a success because they announced a spin-off from Monarch that's in development. So I believe it's a Young Lee Shaw spin-off, if I remember correctly. So the MonsterVerse, like it, love it, hate it, or somewhere in between, it's on fire right now. And it's helped reinvigorate the Godzilla franchise and elevate it to new heights that without the MonsterVerse, there is a very, 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 very real chance that we never would have gotten the anime trilogy, that we never would have gotten Shin Godzilla, and we never would have gotten -1. Now, I think most fans probably don't like the anime trilogy. I think a lot of fans are confused by Singular Point. A lot of fans like Shin Godzilla, a lot of fans love -1. Your opinions are your own and you're entitled to them, but I think we need to show the Monsterverse and Legendary the respect that they deserve because of these movies and these TV shows. We're eating pretty damn good here as Godzilla fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
With that, Eric, I think we've officially talked as much as we can about a 2-minute trailer, an hour and 11 minutes, way longer than I think we expected to go, but that's okay. I don't think we've actually got to go in depth on our opinions and feelings on season 2. So I'm glad that we got to do that and share that. Is there any last words you want to say, Eric, or anything you would like to plug before we get out of here?
No, just really excited for this series to start. It can't come soon enough. Obviously, we're getting a whole bunch of Godzilla news, obviously, with the -0 poster and now this. Just a lot of great stuff that I'm looking forward to this year. It's going to be another big year for Godzilla, and I'm all for it. I'm not, it's not overdone. It's not whatever, I'm going to absorb all of this as much as I can because this is what I've dreamt for all my life and I am just enjoying it. So they're not oversaturating nothing. I want it all. So really excited to watch this and go through it and really enjoy it. So and ready for Titan X, man. Ready for Titan X.
Me too. I showed my wife this trailer and she was like, man, she's like, I'm so sad we have to wait. I'm like, yeah, but we only have to wait like a month and a half. Like this is pretty great. Like we can do this. So it's definitely gives us all something to look forward to help pass the winter months. Unfortunately, it's at the end of February. It would have been nice maybe if it was the beginning. We could have watched it all throughout the winter, the last little bit there of the winter, but I'm excited. Titan X looks amazing. I'm interested to see how they're going to tell 2 stories of Godzilla and Kong without them meeting actually before Godzilla vs. Kong, or maybe they do and they're doing a little bit of a retcon or something. Who knows? I don't know, but I'm excited. There's a lot to be interested in this season. So with that, Eric, thanks for jumping on here with me. Sammy, if you watch this later, thanks for jumping on. To all of you that are going to be watching this, we greatly appreciate it. Like I said, throw your opinions in the comments. We would love to read them. We'd love to see what you guys think. Maybe you guys have a take that's completely different than ours, and I want to know because I love thinking about this stuff, and maybe you're going to give me a different perspective that I didn't already have the ability to think about. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Do us all a huge favor. Hit that like button and that subscribe button. We have so much awesome content coming at you guys. You guys should probably be seeing this on a Thursday, which means on January 18th. We will be talking about Godzilla vs. Ebirah, or Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, or Ebirah Horror of the Deep. It should be a great conversation. Honestly, a slept-on, underrated gem of the Showa Godzilla films. I have a lot of thoughts on that film. I really do. It's a good film. It should be a good time. All right, hit that like button, hit subscribe, follow us on all of our social medias. Right down there at that link tree. Do us all a huge favor. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys. Around here, we have a phrase. It is, Eric, Stolapi Poppy.
One phrase, 3 words, embrace the attitude.